Just a little precaution, the motor's sat still for about 6 months now, I reckon, and any engine that sits still for a long time, it doesn't hurt to give it half a revolution of turnover, just now and again, just to make sure that any valves that were open get closed, and any valves that were closed for a long time get opened, and everything gets moving. It keeps everything moving and nothing seizes up. Just a little precaution when you've got a long-term build on the bench. Anyway, welcome back. Let's get stuck into a bit more of this. Right, okay, 9:30 now on the clock. Start work at 2 PM today, 2 till 10 late shift, and I want to try and use at least the next 4 hours fruitfully to try and create something to bolt this down to. Right, the first two tasks are to take this little platform here that I welded on to house this in there. I can now afford to mount that higher because the panel has been lifted. There's more room above it. There's plenty of room up there for it to sit neatly out of the way. So that doesn't have to be so low, which means I can then trim the panel up higher, because at the moment, if I trim the panel where I want it, this will be hanging down underneath, and that's no good. So cut that off and mount it the same height as that one, that side. So that will just look nice and symmetrical across. That's the first little tidy up job. The second thing is the platforms up here. This is the platform upon which the cross strut sits, and I want to thread down straight into that from the top. So therefore I want to tap it straight through. It's only 3 mil thick, so I've got to thicken that up by one more layer to make it 6 mil. I can then drill straight through and tap into that 6 mil thickness of steel. That'll give me a nice place, nice solid platform to bolt straight into the panel itself. Then after that, once I can bolt it all on, it looks good, I can start cutting little pieces of it out and perhaps lightening it up just a little bit. I want to get it back down if possible to 2.5 kilos. So let's get it off the bike, get it on the bench, get the tools out, start making noise, mess, fuss and dust. Let's go. There we go. Now that's lifted that up by that much, which is the slug that I cut out there, or about. And that weighs, that's double thickness because I welded it as an L shape before I started realising I could make this so much lighter. So that's 6 mil thick by 2 inches square, so there's quite a lot of weight in that. And that's gone. So that's it. That's a neat line across there now. Quite smart. Going to put an under tray under here that at least covers that. So this will all be covered up. 2 more jobs today on this so far. Thicken up the plates on top and then cut that centre out there, because I reckon, feeling the weight of that, I reckon cutting a big piece out in the centre will make a big difference. I'm going to keep that and the other few pieces I've cut off and see how much at the end I've managed to liberate from the weight. Anyway, stop talking, get on to work. Right, it's a little tip for yourself if you're going to do this sort of thing. Fabrication's just fraught with silly little things that if you don't get the insight, you don't do it, it can cause you problems later, and I learnt this one a long time ago. If you're going to cut a piece of metal square or have a right angle of any kind, like that, then always keyhole the corners so they're round, and that way they won't crack. Because if that's just a straightforward cut there, meet with a sharp corner, as time goes on with vibration, that'll fracture and it'll start cracking inwards. So the best thing in the world is just like that. Just put a little round in the corner, keyhole it out. You can either drill a hole and then cut up to the hole from right angles, which I've done in the past on this, or you could just cut the hole out and then keyhole them out with the little files. Right, here you look. Okay, that's got the platforms beefed up, proper strong now, nice and tough. There's good 6mm thick. I can drill down through that and tap it, and that'll be enough to hold it. The weight's going downwards on top of it anyway, so no need for too much beef and strength, but that is enough. Bearing in mind that looks like you could launch a rocket from it, and that's better. Now it's all moved. Nice position in there now, nice and flush. It was kind of an L shape down, impeding on the space. I want to trim the tail up a bit, and that was sticking down. That would have been exposed then, so that's now out of the way. Level with that one. That will look quite cool. So the next thing is bolt the tail on and start working out exactly where that drill hole's got to be on both sides. Done. Right, there we are. Nothing I can do now, I'm afraid. Time to go to work. It is at least mounted with the holes in. Now these don't quite line up 100%. I think when I was drilling through, because you're drilling through box section, when I've gone through to the second side of the box section, it's just drifted off a bit. So this one, it's got a bit of a bind to it, whereas that one drops in and out nicely. So a little bit of attention on that. Then it's file out the holes bigger with the hole cut. I might even go larger still, not just this size of conduit. I might go bigger to 1 inch so that I can actually put a little drain hole in it as well. A couple of you have asked that question, what if they fill up with water? I can put caps over them, or like I said, drain holes. It's all minor stuff, it's not important at the moment. But they will have to be rectified in the next one. Put the French tubes in, laminate, and that's it. Then I can bolt the thing down properly. But for today, I'm really happy. I've saved a considerable amount of weight, taking that big square of the structure out underneath. And I will possibly think about doing a little bit more. I don't know yet, I'm not sure. But there we are, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Take it easy, ride safe. See you next weekend for some more.